Move in to the next game of Super Saturday, 5:30 p.m. It's the Gold Coast Titans taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It's coming at you from Rabina Stadium, so it's going to be a cracker. You've got Keanu at fullback with Khan Pereira back in the lineup with Philip Summy, Aaron Shoup, Jojo Fafita, Jaden Campbell, Tanner Boyd, Maweki Futuaki, Chris Randall, Big Tino backing up from Origin, David Fafita, Joe Stimson, Isaac Liu, the return of the man that led the Roosters to a premiership, Sam Verrills, Aaron Clark, Clessy Haas, Big Isaac, Cruz Leming, Brian Kelly, Jermaine Jalifi, Thomas Michaeli, and Ken Mamalo. Now, Baxter, you say some of these names and they're starting to become a household name. You've got Khan Pereira. Everybody knows who he is. No one knew who he was. Halfway through last season, everyone's going, who the fuck is this Khan Pereira? Jaden Campbell, he's starting to come into his own.
Who?
David Fafita.
Who? Oh, I know he is.
Isaac Liu. Sam Verrills coming back, whether he plays or not. It's a great sign to see that he is on that sheet, especially after that collarbone injury. What do you make of this Gold Coast Titans side? They've shown they can score points. They've shown that they can concede a lot of points. They go ahead, they trouble. We've seen it time again. What do you make of them?
Well, they've shown this season, if you want to beat them, score 27 or more points. It was like a run of 5 or 6 games where they had either won or lost and only scored 26 points. Really, 26 points normally wins you a game, but that's 10 years ago we're talking about. But now teams are beating you 46-26. So really, you need to work on your defense. But it's good. They bring exciting football as a fan, as a neutral, watching them play. Holbrook's got them playing this different style. Maybe they later down the track, Sam Verrills comes back into the starting hooker role. They play how they want to play with Tanner Boyd and Kieran Foran when he returns from his injury, and they can start to put this together. It's a bit weird having Jaden Campbell at 6. I thought he would be the starting fullback, and AJ Brimson. I know he's out at the moment, but he would be the better 6 filler, not Jaden Campbell. But, it is what it is, and I got no negativity towards them, and it's just good to see that they're up and about.
Well, it's actually quite funny, and I don't think if people have realised this, but every week when I look at the teams, I either give you the home team and I give you the away team, and it's purely based on when this next team is played. So, obviously, I have given you the away teams. This is the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I don't want to talk about it. Take it away.
You love this team. You love this team. Blake Taff in the fullback role, Alex Johnson and Richard Kennar in the wing position, Isaiah Tass, and Campbell Graham, who was excluded from the New South Wales squad, back to play in this game in the centre role. Cody Walker, Lachlan Ilias in the halves, TT and Hame Sele in the prop role. Damien Cook to miss out on New South Wales origin to make the hooker position. KK and Jacob Host to be the second row. Cameron Murray back as well. Lock, Jay Arrow, MCK, not to be confused with Machine Gun Kelly. Shaq Mitchell, not to be confused with the Big Shaq. And Daniel Fafita, Tane Mill to be the 18th jersey. Jed Cartwright, Peter M. Talis Duncan, Dean Hawkins to round out the extended bench. And wow. Look, they looked a bit clunky last week. No Latrell, no Campbell Graham. No Murray as well, which is a big J Arrow as well missing. A lot of origin players missing, and it just showed you how quality players really impact a squad. You take them all out and look what they did. You come up against 5 out of 6 Raiders side on the trot, and then they didn't look themselves. But now that they've got the origin players back, they should get this one done and dusted. And I'm going to ask for your prediction first.
Well, let's talk about his side quite quickly. Obviously, last week they did go down to Ricky's Raiders in a game that was kind of a back and forth, who hits first, who hits the hardest. Now, I sat there when obviously everything happened with Corey, and I watched the two teams, and obviously your dad and sister were at the game, and I got sent a Snapchat, and it was like the Rabbitohs were warming up, and obviously, yes, okay, they did feel for what happened, but they also knew once it was finished, it was going to be a game where the Raiders kind of stood around. So when I was watching the game, I turned around to mum and dad, and I just said, mate, the Rabbits are going to hit the ground running. They're going to tear this team apart because they're going to be ready to go. These Raiders have now gone through a physiological battle with one of their players being down and not knowing what happened. But nonetheless, this side showed, I guess, how much they do lack, excuse me, when they don't have Latrell Mitchell. They don't have Campbell Graham. And I think 3 of the 4 tries that the Raiders did score came up the side that Campbell Graham was going to save him. So I think if you're a Souths fan, you're probably saying if there's a way you can donate your Sturman to Campbell Graham so that he can play this week. We'll see how he goes. We'll see if he gets through. I'm sure we'll know more in the next couple of days, but he's got to go out there and he's got to say, hey, listen, Freddie, if New South Wales win game 1, I'm going to be ready. I deserve to have my crack at the spot again. I'm ready to go. If they lose game 1, even more so, he needs to go, I can make the difference. Look at how I'm playing at club level. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to side with the Rabbits. I feel like I'm being you too much. I'm going to change my tip here. I was going to say 1-12 again, but I'm going to go to Rabbits 13+. I think they get the job done. I think the Titans in this game need to come in there and go, we're going to get into an arm wrestle. And I don't believe the Titans can get into an arm wrestle. Instead, they're going to get into a scoring match. If Campbell Graham's fit, Cody Walker's been unbelievable. Illis has been unbelievable. I think Alex Johnson goes over for another double and they get this game quite comfortably in a 13+. What about you?
Yeah, I've got South Sydney 13+. Another 13+ for me. So, yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie Focus where you put a number on the board and like you kind of make the person? I reckon I've been like sending you like 13 pictures or 13 words in my text, and it slowly got you into that 13+.
You know, out of all these games, I've got my tips already written down, but out of all the games this weekend, I've only got 2, 1-12.
Well, we'll see how that one goes, but obviously we are both sided here 13+. I think this week, and it sounds quite silly because it was a game they lost, but I sat there and I went to my dad, who obviously I do go and watch all the Roosters games with. I went, fuck, when they get Jack Whiten, the way Jack Whiten played against them, when they get Jack Whiten, these guys are going to be a premiership threat for those 3 or 4 years that they've got Latrell Mitchell, Cook, Murray, Whiten, Cody, Ilias all together. So it might not be this year, but it will be an exciting time for South Sydney fans moving forward. But let's move in to the next game of Super Saturday, 5:30 p.m. It's the Gold Coast Titans taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It's coming at you from Rabbitohs Stadium, so it's going to be a cracker. You've got Keanu at fullback with Khan Pereira back in the lineup with Phillip Summy, Aaron Shoup, Jojo Fafita, Jaden Campbell, Tanner Boyd, Maweki Futuaki, Chris Randall, Big Tino backing up from Origin, David Fafita, Joe Stimson, Isaac Liu, the return of the man that led the Roosters to a premiership, Sam Verrills, Aaron Clark, Klesi Haas, Big Isaac, Cruz Leming, Brian Kelly, Jermaine Jalifi, Thomas Michaeli, and Ken Mamalo. Now, Baxter, you say some of these names and they're starting to become a household name. You've got Khan Pereira. Everybody knows who he is. No one knew who he was halfway through last season. Everyone's going, who the fuck is this Khan Pereira? Jaden Campbell, he's starting to come into his own. David Fafita.
Who? Oh, I know he is.
Isaac Liu. Sam Verrills coming back, whether he plays or not.